I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for tuning in. It is your boy, Mr. Dwayne Johnson, and you are now rocking with the D Podcast Experience. It's been a crazy couple days, man. It's been a crazy couple days. I was surfing through some videos, and I ran across this one video that just it caught my eye, and it was pretty unbelievable, but it didn't surprise me. Unfortunately, it didn't surprise me. So basically, what it is there's this, and you guys might have seen it as well. There's this dude who's he's acting like he's deaf. He has a hearing aid, and he's acting like he's deaf, and he sees this attractive lady sitting down, and she actually resembles kind of like a Kardashian. Like I said, maybe some of y'all have seen the video, but he goes up to this girl, and they have dialect back and forth with the pen and the pad, right? And he's basically telling her, "Hey, you're good looking." And on the piece of paper, he writes that I like you.
You like me? A lot of people like me. Who doesn't? Thank you.
So basically, on the piece of paper, he writes, "I think you're beautiful." And then she says, "I know. Thank you." And then this man writes on the paper, "Would you like to go out with me sometime?"
Do I want to go out with you? No. 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 Bye.
And then this bitch says, "Bye." And all she does is she basically turns her body away from him and crosses her leg over, right? Okay, this is where it starts getting real good. There's a dude that comes up who's acting as an intern for the hearing aid place that this supposed deaf guy goes to, right? And what happens is he tells the girl sitting down that the deaf guy is talking to, "Will you write something down for me to tell him?" And she, of course, she's like, "Okay, well, who are you?" with an attitude. And he tells her, I work at the the earphone place, the earphones, and or the hearing aid place, and they found a woman who stole $900,000 out of his account. Okay, and she's writing this down. He's telling her to write this down. Write down that we found $900,000 and who stole it, and the hearing aid company made $5.4 million that was owed to him, the supposed deaf guy. So she writes all this down, and she's like, while she's doing this, she's talking to the guy, and she's like, "Oh, wait a minute. Is he rich?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, he's rich. In fact, I wish I had his job. I'm just an intern, blah, blah, blah." Oh my gosh. The whole script flipped after that, y'all.
Could you write something for him really quick, as he's got the pen? I'm not really good with sign language.
And who are you?
I'm his assistant from the hearing aid company that I have. Could you write something for him real quick? Right, okay. It's gonna. The hearing aid company is good news, but I also have bad news. So that's why it's coming from you. It's going to be better. Someone took $900,000 out of his personal account. It was a woman, because this guy's a sweet dude for girls, as I can see. So one of his girls took $900,000. She left him, and the hearing aid company, because we work at a hearing aid company, we made $5.4 million in revenue stream. So
wow.
Yeah.
So you see how her whole attitude changed after that? The whole wow. All of a sudden, now she's mad interested, right? So what happens is, after all this, she writes that down. She gives it to old boy. And then what happens next, y'all?
Were you
He's
talking to
rich?
him? Yeah, he's very rich. Yeah. I wish I had his job. I mean, I'm an intern. I don't get paid much. I'm like the assistant intern. I'm trying to move myself up. Just could you write this real quick? Hearing aid, 5.4 million.
So basically, he's saying that, you know, yeah, this dude's rich. And of course, she sprung into action. So he's rich? And he's like, oh, yeah, he's rich. And then he continues to proceed nonchalantly and say, yeah, just tell him, you know, hearing aid, $5.4 million. So she does that and she gives him the note. And, you know, the guy who's playing the deaf guy he's acting great. I mean, his acting skills is on point. And so this is what happens after that. After she finds out that he's rich, watch what happens.
Hi. Do you want to go out? Let's go. Let's go.
So all of a sudden, she's like, oh, let's go. I'm down for it now because I think you have a few extra dollars in your bank account. Oh, wait. It gets better, y'all. It gets better.
Yeah? Okay. One moment. I'm gonna call my friend.
So this girl, she says, okay, we're going to go. Well, the deaf dude's like, oh, okay, we can go out. He shakes his head yes. And she's like, really? Okay, cool. So she says, hold on a minute. I'm going to call a friend. Now, at this point, first of all, I got to say, I would have put her on blast a while ago. But this dude right here, he's good, man. He's good. So he's playing along. Now she has to call a friend, right? So she's going to call a friend and she's going to brag about what she thinks is about to go down. It's crazy.
Hi. Oh my God. Where are you? How are you?
Okay, first of all, if I was sitting next to her playing that deaf guy and I heard that's the first thing that you said to your friend when you called them. Oh my gosh. This dude has mega patience. Now, I have patience. I do. I really, really do. And I love all human beings. But I will say that is the most annoying shit on the planet sometimes, is how people talk on their phones, because they don't really talk like that in real life. You know what I mean? They don't really talk like that. Anyway, so she's talking to her friend on the phone, and then how she treats her friend on the phone is crazy, which is just more of a confirmation of how this chick really is in real life. It's sad, but it is what it is.
Okay, I don't care. Guess what? No, guess what? I met this retarded rich kid. He just got like 5.4 million, and this girl stole 900,000. I'm gonna go and be with them right now. I can't wait to give you details. Oh, bye.
Okay, so ladies, the whole kiss and tell thing, I get it. I understand. You know, you girls get together and you talk about how you got did right, or how you got did wrong, or how this dude is hanging, or how this dude ain't hanging, or whatever. Like, I get it. I get it. I understand. This type of female, though, this one right here, it's a shame, because there's millions of them everywhere. And now, don't get it twisted. I understand there is a small percentage of men that kind of do the same thing, you know, to a point. If there's a video out there of a dude doing this to a female, please, somebody out there, send it to me. I'm not trying to be one way on this. I'm just saying this happens all the time, and it's sad because money makes people do some crazy shit, y'all.
I'll take off this hearing aid because actually I'm not deaf. I'm not deaf at all, and I heard everything you said there on the phone. I don't know if it was your friend, whoever it was. Wow, I don't appreciate that at all. It's really, really offensive.
I didn't
and
say anything.
I can't believe that even came out of you, to be honest.
I didn't say anything.
You didn't say anything. I heard everything.
Are you
know
kidding
what?
me right now?
No, and I'm not going to go out you.
Got him!
I'm not going to go out you at all. And you know what? I don't have to hear to listen to a gold digger like you.
Favorite part, and then the video, there's this music that plays and he walks away and the girl's standing there looking stupid or whatever. But that's so crazy That's so crazy. Now, I ain't saying she a gold digger, but
Be humble. Sit down.
you see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. These females, man, and dudes, I don't just want to harp on females, but golly, we live in a society, man, where money, cash moves everything around me. Y'all heard it a million times. It's a very popular saying. It's a very popular saying in hip hop and rap music and a lot of other music too, probably. But it's just crazy the world we live in. So that's the video that I ran across, man, and I just wanted to share that with y'all because I thought it was pretty funny. I thought it was pretty funny, actually. Sad and funny at the same time because that shit is real, unfortunately. Also, if you guys would like me to speak about a topic or whatnot, don't forget, you can email me at thedpcexperience@gmail.com. That's thedpcexperience@gmail.com. Email me some of your questions or some of the things that you'd like to know my opinion on as far as different situations going on in the world and things like that. And I actually received an email yesterday from Miss Jenna. And Miss Jenna, basically, she writes, I'd like to know your take on interracial relationships and racist comments towards biracial children and how to best handle them. She has a biracial son, and she heard older people calling him the N-word baby, among other things. And she said that she's tried her best to ignore it, but she doesn't believe that she should stay silent about it. Okay, Miss Jennifer, first of all, thank you for the email. Second of all, it's one thing when it's somebody calling a kid anything, right? Anything, because kids can't really defend themselves. And we're talking about young kids, right? Young ones. And then it's another when it's your kid, right? When it's your kid, then it's a little more heightened, right? The emotions run a little bit hotter. But regardless of what's being said to the kid, when it becomes biracial and you're dealing with people that frown upon mixed kids, and it could be mixed with anything, black, white, Asian, Hispanic. Obviously there's different types of Asians, different types of Islanders. I mean, you can be mixed with anything, right? And just to break it down for you, there's nobody on this earth right now that is a pure of something, at least not in my generation. Although, I'm Nigerian, that's my heritage is Nigerian, but somewhere down along the lines, there's got to be something else in there too. But anyway, so it's and being as though that our country is in the state that it's in now, as far as it's split a lot with all different kinds of races. It's not just black and white, and it's everywhere. It's Hispanics, it's different types of Asians, it's Arabs, Middle Easterns. Not all Middle Easterns, y'all, are bad people, as we know. It's just a few bad apples, but unfortunately in the society that we live in, we focus on the negative stuff, right? So it's like if you watch the news, which I don't watch news and haven't watched news since high school, but if you do watch the news, they always show a bunch of bad shit going on first, right? It's all the negativity. It's all this, that, and the other. This person got murdered, or this kid got kidnapped, or a car wreck, or earthquake here, or whatever the case may be. It's always the bad stuff first. And then for the last 3 to 5 minutes of the news, they'll show something good. And I honestly think it should be the other way around. And what that does is it keeps people in fear. But anyway, getting back to the email, Miss Jenna, what I would do is this. For one, it takes a lot to get me to a point of really wanting to retaliate or say something back to somebody. When it comes to people having problems with race or the mixing of races, the first thing I have to do is look at their age. if it's somebody who, let's say 65 and older, or maybe 50 and older, they're just set in their ways. They're taught that, and they're just set in their ways, and it is what it is. Or they don't understand whatever race it is, right? And as humans, our two reactions when we don't understand something, in most cases, is we either fear it or we just don't like it. Even if we don't know nothing about it, we just don't like it because we don't understand it. And so there's a lot of people that don't understand how black people live, or how Asians live, or how Hispanics live, or how any race lives. There's a lot of people that don't understand. But instead of wanting to sit down and have a discussion and figure out, okay, well, where do you come from? Why is it that you do, the things that you do? Why is it that your heritage does this? Learn. I honestly think that that's what keeps us apart, is seeing so many differences within each other, right? It's good to be different, but it's individuality is different than being different, if that makes sense. Individuality is amazing. It's a beautiful thing. And if you get to that point to where you can be yourself and you're comfortable with yourself, please get to that point. But we're all the same. I mean, and that's what makes us special, right? I put a post on my Facebook. If anybody would like to know, Dwayne Bradley Johnson, on Facebook. But I put a post about a month ago about how we're made, everybody on this earth is made of the exact same 4 compounds that the universe is made out of, that the planets are made out of. And that makes us special. That just puts us in a special category, guys. Now, individuality, when you have your own individuality and you're comfortable with it, that's a beautiful thing. But you got to get to that point. But as far as, interracial relationships and kids and all that, I have sons that are mixed. Okay. They're black and white. And I haven't ran across anybody who's, given me any issues or whatnot. But I will attest that to, if somebody did have a problem with it, they wouldn't approach me, because I'm bigger than the average person. Even though I've lost, 359 pounds, my stature, I'm just a big guy. So there's not too many people that would say something to me if they didn't approve of what I was doing or whatnot. At least not strangers anyway. So what I would do is look at their age. If their age is, if they're older, you just have to chalk it up to just you're ignorant. You don't know any better. You were taught that way. And unfortunately, no one tried to snap you out of it. Now, if it's younger, if it's like 50 and younger, then that's different, because then you have to look at, okay, how were they raised, and how was it said? Even though if you're dogging a kid, you're dogging a kid. Doesn't matter how you say it. But what I mean by that is, if somebody says something that they believe non-malicious, well, you know what I'm trying to say. Basically, being non-malicious about it. If they're approaching you that way, then that's different. But if they're being, if they're being absolutely, positively over the top rude, or going out of their way to be rude, then that's a whole nother story. But you have to look at the source, right? You have to look at, they're just unhappy people. You just have to let them be miserable. And what it is when people speak out like that, it shows their true colors, and even though it's very angry, it's very, it makes you very angry. It makes you very frustrated. And that's your kid. You don't want your kid to have to go through that. And with me, I was raised in a white household, and, I'm blacker than oil, man. And, so it's crazy, because I have a different aspect. You know, I have a different take on it. I have a different perspective. And so I mean, literally, I didn't even know I was a black kid until third grade, to be honest. And the only way I found out was a kid didn't want to sit next to me in class because he was afraid that he was going to get my quote unquote disease, which is my skin color, if he sat next to me. Now, a third grade kid doesn't know that. They're taught that. Okay. And unfortunately, we live in a world where we have, I don't think there's more racist people in the world, or maybe not racist, but people that are not necessarily for biracial kids and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think there's any more racists in the world than there have been. I just think because of the internet, it's just more exposed is all it is. So basically, Jenna, what I would do is I would just really look at the situation and chalk it up to these people just being ignorant. And what you got to do is you got to kill people with kindness sometimes. If they're being ignorant towards you, you just got to smile and nod and go on about your way, because their opinion of your child, or even of you, if you're a mixed person or whatever, their opinion of you doesn't matter, because you still have to go on with your day. You still have to go to sleep and wake up tomorrow and go to work or whatever it is that you do. And they're going to go on being miserable people. And that's, you know, it's an unfortunate thing, because you wish that you could, at least me, I wish I can sit down with somebody who was racist. I wish I can sit down with a KKK member. And I want to sit down with a KKK member that's 60 or older, and then a KKK member that is like 40 and younger, because they're going to have two different aspects of everything. But I would just like to sit down and pick their brain. I'm not mad at KKK people. I'm not mad at racists. I'm not mad at none of that. You know why? Because their opinions have nothing to do with me personally. They're hating in general. And I think we live in a society that gets so butthurt, and our skin is so thin that we literally, I mean, it bugs me, because it bugs me that everything can be taken out of content. Everything could be, you know, sue worthy nowadays, because people are so sensitive. And I'm not saying you, Miss Jenna, this is a big topic as far as, you know, biracial kids. They get looked at by some people as not being equal, or you know, whatever. And those are just ignorant people that were taught that. And like I said, what I would do is I would just take the high road and let them be miserable, and you go on about your business, even though it does suck. But eventually, hopefully one day, that will go away. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that. But we do live in a world that's super sensitive. Now, to this subject, it's a sensitive subject, and it's very important. But above and beyond this subject of like race and stuff, I mean, any single thing is no longer PC. We have to watch what we say here. We have to watch what we say here, because we're afraid that we're going to offend this person. We're afraid we're going to offend this person. You guys, we have to get to a point to where you have to look at yourself and really understand and realize that it's one thing to get all up in arms about hate crimes, right? As far as people strictly doing things to other people because they are not of the same race. Like, I get that. It sucks. And that it irritates me to no end as well. But there's a difference between that and then using your race for everything as an excuse. Oh, I didn't get the job because I'm black, or I didn't get the job because of, you know, X, Y, and Z, or whatever the case may be. It's not, a lot of times it really has nothing to do with your race. Okay. I always find it kind of comical when, you know, I hear somebody say, oh, I didn't get the job because I was black. They gave it to that white boy over there. And it's like, no, you didn't get the job because you're not qualified, and that dude is. That, I mean, that's, one thing that I always try to do in any kind of conversation or any kind of debate or any kind of anything is I always try to see things from both sides. Because if you're not willing to see things from both sides and you get in an argument, you're really not saying anything. You're really not contributing even to the argument. You're not. You're just being one-sided and you just want to win the argument. It's like I said, I don't get into politics. I don't care who voted for who. I don't care about none of that. I don't. What I care about is, at the end of the day, the right thing happening. Whoever can do that, that's what I want. Okay? Now, having said that, if I can't have a conversation with you about anything without it turning into a heated argument to where literally emotions arise of anger to where you want to cause bodily harm to the person that you're speaking with, you got to look within yourself and you got to calm down. You got to relax. I understand people being passionate about the things that they love and being passionate about whatever. But if someone's having a conversation with you and it's a non-threatening conversation, there's no reason to get all uppity. I just never understood that. But the whole race thing is irritating. And I will say, for all my black folks out there, man, I love y'all, obviously. And I'm for y'all. I'm for equality for everybody. I don't care what your background is, where you come from. I don't care. I'm for equality everywhere. But my brothers and sisters, my fellow black brothers and sisters, can we stop using our race as an excuse for everything? Could we stop playing the race card when something doesn't go a certain way that we want it to go? It's not always about race. And I think that there are times where, yes, this is 100% about race, 100%. But then there's other times where it's not. But people start saying it is, and then other people jump on the bandwagon, and then they just start going. And then what happens is, because so many people are thinking the same thing, and it's because we're black, we didn't get this, and it's because I'm black, you pulled me over, and it's because this, that, and the other thing, and a lot of times it has nothing to do with that, you guys. It has nothing to do with that, and we're just so quick to want to be like, oh, you know, you just didn't like me because of this or because of that. And it's like, no, maybe you were really breaking the law. And this comes from someone, y'all, I shit you not. There was a time on my Facebook where I posted every time I got pulled over. I literally got pulled over at least twice a week. And then I started getting pulled over in twos. Like, there'd be two cops that would pull me over. And one would walk up on one side of the car and one would walk up on the other side of the car. Now, yes, as anybody in this country, I would be nervous. I happen to be an African American. So as a black man, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm not pulling the race card. What I'm thinking is, I might have to defend. If I have to defend myself against one cop, that's rough enough. But I might have to defend myself between two cops. And even if I'm in the right, those are cops. It's their word against mine. And even their chest cam and their dash cam on their car and their chest plate that they wear, man, come on. You know, the basketball player, right? They got dumped on the ground by like 5 or 6 cops or whatever. And I think it was a Milwaukee Buck player or something like that. And those police, they got off easy. And they started tweeting jokes about it afterwards. That type of shit pisses me off. I don't care if the basketball player was a black dude, white dude, green dude, purple dude, rainbow colored dude. I don't care. That type of stuff needs to stop. That type of stuff needs to stop. You know, the police actually need, now I will say this, there's tons of good police. There's more good police than there is bad police. But like I said, because our world likes to focus on some negative shit all the time, they only highlight the bad cops. I have a couple cop friends that are awesome dudes, awesome guys, and they signed the oath and they live up to it. And that's awesome. And that's the majority. But unfortunately, like I said, we focus on the negative. So all we're going to see in the news, all we're going to see in the on internet and all that kind of stuff is this cop shot this innocent kid, or these cops did this or this. Those aren't the majority, you guys. They're not. If you have 100 cops and you wanted to come up with maybe a percentage out of those 100, or however many out of those 100 that might be some crooked cops, you might be looking at maybe 9, maybe 10, if that, to be honest. Now it depends on where you live as well. I truly believe that. I 100% agree. It depends on where you live. But I really honestly don't think that's a majority. I don't, guys. I don't. I just don't. And I'm not saying that it's not. I just don't think it is. It might be where you live. All cops might be horrible, you know? But I think we can all agree that it sucks. We live in a time to where we have to almost not necessarily tell our children that, you know, that not all cops are good, because that's confusing. But what sucks is we live in a time to where we do have to kind of watch out. The ones that are supposed to be protecting us, I mean, we have to watch them. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. But like I said, that's not the majority. That's not the majority. And actually, shout out to all the good men and women cops out there that are doing their job to their fullest and doing it the right way and not abusing their authority. I want to give a couple shout outs right now. Shout out to P-Town Media. They're basically like the urban BET for Portland. I love it, man. I love it. So if you got anything, music, podcasts, clothing lines, whatever it is, man, they're looking to back you up. They're looking to get you out there. They're looking to do what they do. And they hold you down. And I definitely appreciate that. Shout out to P-Town Media holding it down out there. All my bosses and bossettes handling their business. Shout out to the Pritchard family out there. This podcast is also brought to you by me, of course. Dwayne Johnson's Photography. Listen, if you guys want something different, something that stands out, something that if someone was looking through a photo album and they're going through all these photos of these models or whatever, and then they flip to a page and they see something that makes them go, whoa, that's what you'll get with me. It's not something that, you know, somebody can do with a cell phone, although cell phones are getting good. Cell phones are getting really, really, really good. But it's something that cell phones can't do, and it's something that experienced photographers can do because it has to do with light. All my photography is all about light. There's no filters. There's no like Snapchat filters. There's no filters that you have on cell phones where you can use your little stylus and blur out the background and all that. No. Do that with the camera. So check out Dwayne Johnson's Photography on Facebook, Dwayne Johnson's Photography on Instagram, and take a look. I guarantee you'll see something there that you'll like, you'll be interested in. And I'm having some really, really good deals coming up here pretty soon. So check that out. Also, did you guys see in the news, kind of like the funny news, because I don't really pay attention to the news, but there's a lot of dog owners that are doing the What the Fluff challenge. And basically what it is, you stand in a doorway, you have a blanket, and your dog is standing, 3 or 4 feet back from the doorway you're standing in, and you're facing them, and you're holding up the blanket, and then you throw the blanket up and you run behind the wall and you let the blanket fall down, and your dog is standing there dumbfounded, like it's unexpected. So your dog's looking around like, from your dog's point of view, it's like their owner just disappeared. A lot of the videos are going viral on the internet. You can look it up. It's pretty funny. Feel free to make a couple videos and send them to me through the email, the dpcexperience@gmail.com. That'd be cool to see. I think that's kind of funny. When I was growing up, I grew up in the Vancouver area. In fact, from elementary school, from about 3rd grade, I don't really remember much before 3rd grade, but from 2nd grade until I graduated high school, I lived in one place. I was blessed enough to live in one house for all those years in Vancouver. And I grew up with a golden retriever. And before Vancouver, I lived in La Center, and I also lived in Fruit Valley for a little while. But I had a golden retriever. And golden retrievers are some of the most loyalist. They're just one of the most loyalist, like, animal. Just super loyal. For me anyway. And I can only speak on my own experiences. And it's the only dog that I ever had. Her name was Rose, which my dad named her Rose. And it's kind of funny because my mom's name is Rose. And I think maybe my dad did that on purpose. But anyway, but Rose was a good dog. And my only dog. And the reason why is for so many years, I had Rose from, I want to say, 2nd grade, if I remember correctly. Like I said, I don't remember much before 3rd grade, but from 2nd grade until about my junior year, I think in high school, junior or sophomore year in high school. And then my dad had to put her to sleep, which was rough. But when dogs get old, their hips start hurting, and, she started going blind, so she was running into things, and the quality of life wasn't good, and you don't want that for your animal. You don't want, you wouldn't want to be going through life with your quality of life horrible to where, but, my dad had to put her to sleep, but he had to do it while I was at school because he knew I wasn't going to let him do it if I was at home. But yeah, I would have loved to do that challenge, to Rose. That would have been major funny. Did y'all hear about Coco? Coco the gorilla passed away a few days ago. Old ass gorilla. But Coco was a sign language gorilla, man. Raised cats and everything. And it's unfortunate, but Coco lived a long life and made a lot of people happy. But I can tell you right now that Coco probably was upset in Cincinnati, or when the Cincinnati gorilla snatched that kid up that fell in that pit at the Cincinnati Zoo, and they had to put that gorilla down. I know Coco was like, bro, that's a bad rap. He snatched that kid up like it was nothing. You know how strong gorillas are, man? Not even gorillas. Chimpanzees and spider monkeys and all, they're smart and they're strong as hell, man. Chimps do not fuck around, y'all. They don't. And they think, and they get jealous. They have emotions that are erratic. It's crazy. But when they attack humans, they're super strong. They'll go for, on guys, they know the difference between male and female. On guys, they'll just snatch your genitalia off. They just pulling on them balls. They'll rip them off, and then they rip all your fingers off. Like, they know what pain is. It's so weird. It's so strange. But chimpanzees are mad strong. I couldn't even imagine a gorilla. This gorilla snatched this kid. Like, the kid didn't even look real when the gorilla was just walking down the little creek with the kid and dragging this kid. And I'm like, oh man. And then there was people that were mad because they had to put the gorilla down and this, that, and the other thing. Man, let's face this. Let's face it. Top of the food chain, that's a child. You got to do what you got to do. Yes, that's a gorilla. Yes, that's an animal. I don't condone hurting animals or whatever, but that animal didn't even want to be there in the first place. It got captured and brought to that damn place. So, but yeah, they had to put it down. But Coco ended up passing away a few days ago. That kind of sucks. Uber intelligent, and the whole species of monkeys is crazy. Actually, speaking of species, a lot of people, and I don't want to go way out in left field about this, but you ever wonder, speaking of species, if aliens, or whatever you want to call them, if aliens came to Earth, right? Let's say you're an alien, you came to Earth, and you look at humans, and we're all different shapes, different sizes, but we're all the same. If I was an alien, and they also talked about this on Joe Rogan's podcast, the JRE Experience, which is awesome. You guys should check that out. He was talking about how, like, you take Shaquille O'Neal and then Britney Spears, and you stand them next to each other. If you were not from this planet, or you didn't know what human beings were, you would not think in a million years that those two are the same thing at all. At all. Shaq is huge, you guys. When you say 7'1" and 330 pounds, which he's probably a little bit more now, but like, you can't fathom that. I come from a big family. I have uncles that are 6'10", 7 feet, 6'11". I have uncles like that. My mother is tall. My sister, she's taller than average. My cousins, we're just me. I'm average, if not the smallest out of all of my cousins. So, anyway, it's just crazy to think that we're the same thing. If outsiders were to come to Earth and see us, I mean, when you think about it, it's like, what are you talking about? You put Wee Man next to CeeLo Green. That's not the same damn thing, man. But it is the same thing. And it's strange. I don't know why I just brought that up. Probably because of the monkeys. There's just different kinds of monkeys. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty strange, man. If you're an outsider and you're floating through the galaxy and you choose to stop here on Earth, man, you're going to see some crazy things. You're going to see a lot of crazy things. Also, shout out to my boy Caleb Matson. He just had his album release for his album that's called Undeniable. Y'all check my boy out. I'll have his link in the description as well. The Northwest is full of a lot of talent, man, and I feel that sometimes the Northwest gets overlooked because it's had such a reputation for grunge music and rock music, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of all forms of music. All forms. I don't care if it's like heavy death metal or R&B or whatever, classical, opera. It doesn't matter to me because it's all harmonic, right? It's a beautiful thing. Music is beautiful, and it's really the only thing, even besides sports, it's the only thing that kind of brings the world together, right? I mean, that's a common ground that we all can see is not everybody likes sports. Not everybody likes this, not everybody likes that. But I haven't met not one person who doesn't like some form of music. So that's a pretty powerful thing to me. So shout out to my boy Caleb, man. Keep doing your thing. I'm proud of you, man. And you guys go to his site, or go to his Facebook, or go to his YouTube, or all his links will be down in the description. Check him out on what he's doing. Also, I want to shout out Black Mannequin. It's going so well for my boy out there, man. Brian, you're doing your thing, dude. Doing your thing. The Black Mannequin clothing line has professional athletes wearing the clothes. Females, y'all are going crazy in them clothes. I mean, Black Mannequin offers stuff for men, women, and kids. You know, backpacks, back to school stuff. So please check out Black Mannequin. That's my boy Brian Walden. He's handling his business. I'm proud of y'all, man. Entrepreneurship, that's what it's about. You know, there's no reason why you need to spend your entire life working for somebody else's dream to come true. Unless you have a career that's different. You know, if you work, you know, an actual career, that's different. But a job, although, don't get me wrong, jobs are awesome. If you just got one, congratulations. Or if you like your job, please keep it. But just know that there's other stuff that you can do on top of that, you know, that really doesn't take a whole lot of money to get into. It just takes a little bit of effort. So shout out to my man, Brian Walden, and shout out to my other dude, Caleb Matson. They're doing their thing. I'll have all their links in the description and things like that. But if you guys want to be, featured or mentioned or whatever, artists, musical artists, speaking of music, before every show and at the end of the show, I'm always playing music, the intro and an outro. If you want your music to be featured on one of my upcoming podcasts, or if you'd like to be on my upcoming one of my upcoming podcasts, please email the dpcexperience.com. That's the dpcexperience@gmail.com. And I'll take a look and pick some artists and get you out there as well. But other than that, guys, this is the second podcast. It's going well. I've had a lot of awesome feedback, a lot of messages from people saying, a lot of positive things, and I definitely appreciate that. Throughout this whole journey of this podcast, there's going to be a lot of crazy shit going on, man, and a lot of knowledge is going to get dropped. You might hear some things that you might not necessarily agree with, or you might not even like, and that's okay. I'm not here to agree with everybody. I'm here to speak my opinions on certain things, and I'm not here to downgrade anybody. I'm not here to make anybody feel bad or anything like that. So if anything that I say offends you, or if anything that I agree with or disagree with offends you, I don't know what to tell you. It's not meant in a malicious. See, I tried that freaking word again. It's one of those words that everyone has a word that hangs them up. And for whatever reason, malicious, because I try to mix mischief and malicious together. It just doesn't work. So that's what it is. But I don't mean anything malicious, y'all. This is all, like I said, this is all just my opinions, and as I said before, I love everybody. I don't care where you come from. We all fuck up. We all screw up. We all, nobody's perfect. Nobody is. And in a lot of cases, if you believe, there's only been one person that's ever been here that's been able to walk on water. So nobody on this earth is perfect, guys. We're all sharing this rock, trying to get along. And I think the more that we communicate, that's going to open the doors to understanding. And the more we understand, man, that's powerful. If you can understand where someone's coming from instead of trying to assume, that's the thing about text messages and messaging, because there's no emotion behind it. You can put exclamation points and you can put emojis and all that, but someone's going to read your message the way they want to receive it, and it might not be the way that you sent it. So communication is very important, especially in the days that we live now, where people can get so many things misconstrued. It's crazy what they can do, or it's crazy what happens. Things get taken way out of proportion, and then things get turned around to mean something that it had nothing to do with the meaning of what you came up with in the first place. So either way, y'all, it is your man. I'm here. I don't have a set schedule with these things. They come out when they come out, but at least I will have one a week. And thank you guys so much for rocking with me. I definitely appreciate it. Until next time, y'all, I love you. Love yourself so we can love others, okay? I'm gone.